የተወደዳችሁ የሰላም ካቶሊክ ቲቪ ተመልካቾች በዛሬው ቤተክርስቲያን በተልዕኮ ላይ በተሰኘው ፕሮግራማችን እንግዶች ከኬንያ ከናይሮቢ እዚህ ከአሜሲያ ተቋም እዚህ የመጡ ስለነበሩ ከነሱ ጋር ቆይታ ለማድረግ እዚህ ስቱዲዮ ይገኛሉ። እነሱን አስተዋውቀን በተለይ በሲኖዳሊቲ ላይ እንደዚሁም ደግሞ የማኅበራዊ ተግባቦት ላይ በተለይ ቤተክርስቲያን ስብከተ ወንጌል በመታካሄድበት ጊዜ በዚህ በአሜሲያ አገሮች እንዴት የስብከተ ወንጌል አገልግሎት በቴሌቪዥን እንደዚሁም በተለያዩ ሚዲያዎች የተካሄደ ይገኛል የሚለውን በዚህ ዙሪያ ላይ ውይይት እናደርጋለን። አብራችሁን እንድትቆዩ እንጋብዛለን። Father Andrew, welcome to the Pax Catholic Television studio, and we are very happy that you accepted our invitation. And I would like to ask you to introduce yourself, and the sister will introduce also herself, and then we will have time to discuss about synodality and about communication from the side of the sister, where she have been working for a long time serving the church in this field. And I would like to welcome you again here at Pax TV studio, and please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Good. Thank you very much, Father, for having me here at Pax TV. My name is Father Andrew Kaufa. I'm a member of Montfort Missionaries. I come from Malawi, but currently I'm working at the AMECEA Secretariat as coordinator for Communications Department.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, Sister.
Thank you, Father. Thank you for inviting me to Pax TV. I'm Sister Jacinta Antoinette Okoth. I'm a member of the Franciscan Sisters of St. Anna. I'm a Kenyan, and I work with AMECEA in the Communications Department. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And you are in Addis for an important meeting.
Yes.
With a number of bishops from different AMECEA region, from different dioceses. And the meeting is now almost completed. But you are here to tell us a little bit about the meeting and what the content was and how it went, and so it would be good to know a little bit about your visit here in Ethiopia.
Good, thank you. This meeting was organized specifically for bishops from the AMECEA region who went to Rome to represent us during the synod on synodality. You remember that Pope Francis wanted that all the Christians participate in the process, and in the process of selecting those who can represent, because not everybody could go, there were over 354 participants from all over the world. But from Africa, we were privileged to have somewhere around 60 people, if I'm not mistaken, who attended the synod. And from our AMECEA region, we had a group of bishops who went there to represent us. Unfortunately, actually, I don't know what happened. There were supposed to be bishops, lay people, religious men and women, and youth, at least a representation, but in the way that they calculated, only bishops. So we are talking about one bishop from the smaller conferences, like Malawi, Zambia, Sudan, South Sudan, one bishop, but big conferences like Ethiopia, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, they sent 2. So these are the people that we invited for this meeting. And the whole point was you are basically what we call the Synod Fathers. Now, the Synod was concluded by the late Pope Francis in October 2024. Now, how can we work together? How is the message which you brought to us, how is it being received? And then from there, is there anything more we can do? So you could see from the discussion that yes, many people seem to understand. I mean, some people seem to have gotten the message of the Synod, but many are yet to understand the message. And then those who have gotten the message of the Synod, which is in that final document, many are asking, so what next? Yes, this is what the Synod says, but what next? So the bishops were trying to put their heads together and trying to see what can we do, what can AMECEA Secretariat do, what can the national conferences like Ethiopia do on their own, and then what do we expect of these Synod Fathers also to do to promote synodality. So in short, that was the purpose of the gathering.
Yes. It's very important, I mean, to bring those bishops together who participated and who have, the first-hand information and to share it also with each other here in the continent or in this region, so that can be, their message can be more concrete and can be shared also with the individual countries and dioceses, and so So Sister was also participating with the bishops and those who were responsible. And how did you find the sharing, and what is your opinion about this meeting?
Okay, thank you. Yes, I participated. I was not one of the delegates, of course, but I went as a communicator. So I've been with the bishops from the day they came. They have shared, first of all, they have shared their experience, how they felt during the 2 sessions of the Synod, that is 2023, then 2024. After the sharing, they have also come up with some resolutions of way forward, what can be done. And from my point of view, I think I've realized that most of the bishops, the delegates, what they have shared is that they were happy with the Synod on synodality, with the process, how it went through, because first, they saw it to be very unique, because the methodology that was used, the other synods had never used. The combination of those who went for the synod, that is the delegates, it was a combination of the bishops, the lay people, the religious. So it was a unique synod on its own. And so they appreciated, from their sharing, they appreciated how the entire process went through. But in 2023, I think because it was the first time they went and they saw all these things that were slightly different from the previous ones, some were not so sure the trend that the synod would take. But they said when they went back the second time in 2024, I think they were now on the track, and they were okay with the methodology that was used. And so from their sharing, when they came back, a good number from different conferences, they mentioned that they have already shared this with their member, the bishops, they are in the conferences, their brothers, they have already shared. Some have shared already in the dioceses, with the religious, with the different groups. And in short, I would say it's already taking shape. Even though it's taking shape already, but some still, they have not, some bishops probably, they have not done this in their dioceses. And so that means from the resolutions, a lot still needs to be done. Because something that came out so clear is that because synodality is continuing, at the same time it is also Jubilee year, so many people, I think, moved to Jubilee. And so you find that most people have forgotten about the synod. And they think that by the time the delegates came back in 2024, after the synod in October, that was the end. Yet, after that, we were now to start the implementation stage, and that is what we were waiting for, when it was to be announced, so that people to begin the implementation stage. So you find that most conferences, most countries are have leaned more on the Jubilee, because there are so many groups that are now going to Rome to celebrate the Jubilee and all that. So people have forgotten about the synod for now. But from the sharing that the bishops have had, now that they have met to talk about it again, they are going to reignite it so that the synod continues.
Yes, yes,
yeah.
Yeah, indeed. The synod was very important as well. I mean, the Jubilee is very important as well for the Church, as it is 2025, and you know, Pope Francis, the late Pope, you know, declared. But still, you know, synodality shouldn't be forgotten, and it has to have also a momentum to continue.
Yeah.
So now there are some steps also will be taken in the coming period. I suppose you have a lot of work to do after this meeting, probably.
Yes, yeah. That's what we were sharing with the bishops, that after the closure of the session or the assembly, it was very clear that two things were important. One was to raise awareness. What did the synod decide? What is the message in that final document on synodality? So what we have been doing so far has been to help people to understand those 5 main topics that are in the synod. You may recall the first one is simply for people to understand what is synodality. People have said so many things, but synodality is simply the lifestyle in the church of journeying together, of working together, making decisions together, everybody participating in the mission of the church. That togetherness, people have to understand that everybody has to play a role, and we have to hold each other's hands and journey together. The second topic is we can't work together if our relations are not okay. So Christians and priests must look at how they relate with one another. The same priests and sisters, priests and their bishops, the bishops and the Pope. The relations, it will be difficult to work together if some people have grudges or some people are complaining, but when everybody feels that I'm welcome, I'm listened to, and we are all together, then, yeah, so that's the whole point. But now how do we bring that to practical life in the church? Then from the relations comes the third point about structures of governance. The synod is inviting us to say our structures of governance clearly show that nobody should make decisions alone. There has to be consultation with one another. That's why we have diocesan council, we have parish councils, we have where we have deaneries, we have deanery councils, we also have finance councils, you see. So that not one person signs checks, not one person makes decisions, but everybody feels consulted, and then you journey in that process. The fourth one is that one about the bonds, the relationships. How does the Archdiocese of Addis Ababa relate with the diocese, for instance, the eparchy of Hosanna. Yeah? Our bishops able to work together. Now you see that when we talk about the conference of Catholic bishops of Ethiopia, already that shows us that the bishops in this country, they try to journey together, to do pastoral planning together and evaluate the implementation. Now, from there it goes to regional, to continental, and then to the universal level of the church. That's the fourth chapter. And then finally is the question of mission. The whole purpose we exist is the mission which Christ left us. So when people have understood this document, the final document on synodality, which is what we are saying, probably a good percentage of people now have understood. The question now is the implementation. And that's why the synod ends, Pope Francis dies. And then comes Pope Leo, and then he says, now let's go together in this phase of implementation. You remember his letter, his message to the General Secretariat in Rome, which is on 29 May. He said, it's now time for implementation. And he says, it's no longer time for people to look up to the Vatican. No, the document is in the hands of the people. So the protagonists of synodality now are the people on the ground, the parishes. How are they making their now relations synodal? How are they making their structures, church structures synodal? How are they making their mission work synodal? So this is where now we are, and as you rightly put it, AMECEA Secretariat has a big responsibility to foster that implementation. The conferences have a big responsibility to make sure that the conferences are doing something. But as Pope Leo put it, more or less reiterating what Pope Francis said, key at this stage are the bishops and the priests, because they are the ones who are on the ground with the people, and they are the ones who have the key to decision making. Once the bishop and the priest, they say, let's start the job, everybody would be on board. Yeah, so we are all responsible, but the bishops and the priests, they have a key role to play. Yeah.
So awareness is very important, and implementation, that all should take this seriously. And so when we talk about awareness and also bringing, the message to the different stakeholders, communication is very important.
That's where Sister comes in.
Yes. And I'm just going to her, and how do you think that the Church should communicate this important synodal document, and that everyone, feels responsible, to implement it in their own context?
Okay, one thing that I would say has come out from the discussion that should be implemented from the communication point of view is translating that document into local languages that people can understand. Because the document is out, yes, but how many people have read it? And even if people have read it, it is in English. It is in which language?
English, Spanish, Italian, French.
Yes. So those 4 languages, not everybody understands all these 4 languages. Let me say, if you want to communicate to the Christians here in Ethiopia, it will be easier for them to use Amharic. So if conferences, first of all, translate this into their local languages, that is one way that it will help to reach out to the Christians. And actually the bishops mentioned that some of the conferences have already done, and some are already in the process, so it is ongoing. So that is already one way on how this communication, this information can be disseminated to the people, for them to understand what is going on. Secondly, I would say that in the AMECEA region, we say that AMECEA introduced something called small Christian communities. I don't know how you call it in Ethiopia. I know conferences have different languages, but okay, in English it is small Christian communities, but I'm sure you have a local language that you use here.
A different name, yeah.
Yeah, you have a different name. So through these small Christian communities, it means the information goes up to the grassroots. So if this document has already been translated into local language, it will be easy for those who are concerned to disseminate it even up to the grassroots, to those who, if I was in Kenya, I would say Mama Mboga, those who
the ordinary woman there on the street or in
for them to understand.
Yeah.
So going to the small Christian communities, going to the families, then they will be able to understand what this document is all about. So that's a way of communicating.
Yes, it's an important part of the journey as well, and communication is officially the document translating and bringing it closer to those who but on the other hand also making it also part of the pastoral plan of the different dioceses and parishes or congregations, because in that way only it can be, the embodiment can be worked out in that way. Maybe
actually in addition to that, one thing also which AMECEA Secretariat is doing, and the Vatican is insisting on that, is the training of people on how now to do things in a synodal way. Some years back, when small Christian communities were beginning, I think people were used only to go to church on Sunday, and there was nothing that brought them together as a small Christian community. A lot of effort was done by the church to teach lay people how to live as a small Christian community, for the lay leaders how to conduct, say, meetings or prayers in a small Christian community, the whole style of leadership in a small Christian community. Now we are talking about synodality. What is it to do things in a synodal way? So people have to be trained, and I think from our side as a AMECEA Secretariat, we can say we trained in Tanzania almost 44 people coming from the whole region. We asked for 3 people from each conference. I think some came from Ethiopia also, just to train them on what synodality is, the methodology which the Vatican recommended on how to conduct meetings in a synodal way. There is that conversation in the spirit as a methodology, how to use that methodology. So there are quite a number of things. And then they are talking about, if you are running a parish, you normally have parish councils, and they're like, how to integrate that methodology in the meetings for parish council, church council, and any other meeting that you may talk about. So there are so many components that people have to be trained. And we have done with that group, which we call the trained trainers. Yeah, it was a training of trainers, TOT. Some are calling them synodal teams, which is also mentioned in the document. And then interesting also has been in Tanzania again. In Tanzania and Malawi, we have trained liturgical music composers, so that if they have to compose songs using to disseminate a message on synodality, what are the themes in the document, and how can they go about it, so that they use their talent, singing talent, to disseminate the information. So we trained quite a number of choir masters, but also composers, and then a big chunk of which for the last 2-3 months has been the training of Catholic journalists, Catholic radio producers and presenters, including TVs actually, so that they are key in disseminating this message. They need to understand it, what synodality is, and then having understood it, pass the message on through the radio or the TV to the people. But more important is not just the knowledge, but the practicality of the synodal style of being church, which, as Pope Francis said, these days you can't go it alone. Even in any secular institution, people have to do things together. And this should become a new way of doing things in the church.
Yes, I think it's very important communicating it, but also, as you have mentioned it, the new way of doing, being a Christian, being a church. Even then, also Pope Leo the 14th is now insisting that gospel proclamation is one. The church have been, working on that since Vatican II. But what is new with this, the call for synodality is that, journeying together. And Pope Leo is saying that it is an attitude, being a Christian, to integrate it into the life, the daily life of a Christian, or the daily activities in the church. It should be integrated, so to put it into practice. Proclamation is one, as an institution, but also the life of the institution should be a witness. The witness part is very important for the new Pope. Maybe it would be good to shed a light on this point. I mean, the gospel proclamation and institutional witness.
Sister will come in, but one thing is just to support what you are saying is you will see that every chapter in that final document is talking about conversion, which means, as you say, our mindset has to change. For instance, in practical terms, I come from Malawi myself, and I know that in most families, we say the decision maker is the man, is the head of the family. Synodality is telling us that no, even though the man is the head of the family, you need to consult with your wife. In the same way, you need to consult with your children and say, we as a family, we want to do this. What do you think? Now, it means we have to change that mindset that the man has to do things, has to decide, and we need to bring in the new concept to say that yes, you may be the one to decide, but please consult. It's the same. The mother is responsible in the kitchen. But now the mother, if she just goes to the market and only buys what she likes because she's in control of the kitchen, she may cook and people will be complaining. But she can ask the husband, what would you like to eat this weekend? Oh, son, daughter, what would you like us to eat today? So in that way, you are moving together as a family. Now, this is where we are saying, what Pope Leo is saying, we have to change the attitude here and translate that into practical way of doing things, even in the church.
Yeah, that's very important. Sister, I am sure that you have something to add.
Okay, yeah, I can add. When Pope Leo talks about witnessing, to me, he's just emphasizing that now it's time to walk the talk. We are talking about synodality, but now, what is the practical part of it? I remember recently when we had the meeting with the radio, I remember when one of them mentioned that the response they're getting from some listeners, they say that they've been hearing the sessions in the radio, But after that, they have not heard anything in their parishes what they are supposed to do. So they only hear from the radio, they listen, and the session is over. But what next? So by witnessing now, it means what is written there in the book should not just remain in the book. It should now be practical. And each conference, each diocese, each parish should find practical ways, because not all conferences can do things the same way. You may find there is something that we may do from Kenya, and maybe in Ethiopia it may not be practical. So each conference, each diocese, each parish is to see that which is practical and do it. In the synodal book, there is a topic that is talking about accountability. When you talk about accountability, what should the parishes do in line with that? They are supposed to communicate to the Christians, even if it is a matter of resources that they have. How have they used it? If you tell the Christians this in an open way, this is accountability, and they will know that, okay, if it is the parish priest, if it is the bishop, is doing now what is expected of him. And so we are just now being called to walk the talk, do it practically, what we are expected of to do.
So with this also, actually to connect it with the call from our Pope Leo, who is saying that we have to be a missionary church. Yeah. So having all this package of synodality and the methodology, the attitude and the witness, all this will be an instrument to be a missionary church. That is, it will mark also, the pontificate of Pope Leo, I think, this being a missionary church. To be good, to connect it with synodality. Maybe if you say a few words on that.
I think one thing that the synodal process has revealed, in my opinion, is this point that for some time now, because the Catholic Church, in many countries, we are quite a big population. I don't know, in Malawi, I think the Catholics are about 40% of the population. In Kenya, I don't know, is it also 40 or sister?
Around the same, yeah.
Almost the same. So sometimes because we are many in numbers, we begin to feel that it's not necessary to evangelize or to convert other people to come to the church, to our church, and like we feel comfortable. But the synod has shown us that if we feel comfortable and we don't make an effort to make people know who Jesus and to evangelize, then why do we exist? Yeah. So it is from there that you see that the synod is saying now, to evangelize, to proclaim the gospel is not only the job of the Pope or the bishops, it is about every baptized person. Now, synodality is actually building on what they are calling the ecclesiology of baptism, which means a church where membership is based on being baptized. The membership in the Catholic Church is not based on one being a priest or one being a brother or a sister. No, it's based on the fact that you were baptized. After baptism, now all these other callings now come in, which means everybody who has been baptized has to play a role in proclaiming the good news and converting people to become Christians. Now, going back to what you said about witness, you can evangelize by talking, by singing, but more important is our prophetic presence, the witness of our life. So at that point, you see that all of us as baptized people, we are now on the same boat. Now, an interesting discussion came up, especially on the part of the the sisters who during the synod, I remember some of them saying, when people talk about the church, they only think about the priests or the bishop, because their jobs are visible when it comes to evangelization. They preach in the church, they teach in the church, and the like. Us who are busy teaching in schools, running hospitals, and the like, people don't see the immediate connection. And yet when you look at it very closely, teaching, like the way we teach in schools, that's what Jesus was doing every day, teaching the people. Taking care of the sick, healing the sick, that is what Jesus was doing every day. Prioritizing the poor, which a sister or a lay person, a woman can do by helping anybody in the street or people who are poor, preparing soup and giving them. That is what Jesus was doing every day. So the point is, let's not say this is a job of sisters or this is a job of priests. No, evangelization in word and action is the mission of every baptized person. So again, the end result, the question now is what we have been saying now, how do we do it together?
And then that also the point of discipleship, maybe the sister can add something to it, that we are all called, to be the disciples. And the baptism, and then you go and you baptize them and, proclaim the good news. And the proclamation is not only just given to the ordained priest or consecrated sisters, but also the lay people are called to this important mission or important, evangelization work of the church. Maybe if you can add, as also communicator, as a communication person is also important, because evangelization, discipleship, and communication is also linked somehow together.
Okay. Okay, you are right. There is connection, and when you talked about being a missionary, I think what people have been having in mind is that a missionary is somebody who probably, like, let me say, when we were being evangelized, like from my parish, there were the Mill Hills. They came from somewhere out of the country, and then they came to our country to tell us more about Christ. So I think growing up, we imagine that being a missionary means you move from where you are, you go to another place to teach those people, to talk to those people about Christ. But then we are being reminded during this period of synodality that being a missionary, you begin from where you are. You are a disciple of Christ. Okay, by virtue of baptism, you become a disciple. So even if you are not, we have different vocations. You are not a priest, you are not a religious, you are even in a family. In your family, where you are, you have your children, you have your spouse. Begin from there. Through the teachings that you will give your children when they grow up, as they are growing, through letting them know Christ, you are already evangelizing. You are already a disciple to these people. The work that you have, the work that you are doing, it may not be something even that you have to be somebody like a catechist in church, but you have another different mission that you are doing. Like we have communicators here at the Pax TV. They are doing evangelization to the people. They are missionaries in their own way, because through what they are doing, they're disseminating information to the people, and they can transform people through their work. So the main thing is, how do you do that transformation? Do you wait until you proclaim it in the church to show that now you are a disciple or you are a missionary? But begin it from where you are, with the people you are with. And that is...
Actually, the synod During the synod, you can see actually should I say a cry or an appeal coming very much from the youth and women. The youth feel that most of them expressed that we are in the church there, we sit down, but if we want to do something very tangible, it is like they say, they are still young, they don't know. Yeah, but if you look at it closely, the youth are very energetic. If a parish priest or sisters in mission, they say, let us work with the youth on this particular area. The youth are very creative, the youth are full of energy, and they really want to do something for Christ. So they feel that they have a role to play in the mission of Christ. It's us who are leaders now, priests or sisters or even lay leaders, to recognize that there is a workforce in the youth that can be harnessed. The same comes to women. Yes. If you look at how the contribution of lay women these days, I don't know here in Ethiopia if you have the association or the Catholic Women Association. If you look at the work they are doing in parishes, the work they are doing in dioceses, many bishops are even saying, if it was not for this association of women, we don't know how our church would be. Many priests also say, if it was not for women, we don't know how our small Christian communities would be. Now, this is a force that the church has for the mission. They are doing a lot already. All we need is to recognize their contribution and to encourage it so that we journey together. Even when we talk about the youth, I think today, as we were closing the meeting, the bishops spoke very much about using the digital space and technologies to evangelize, especially in collaboration with the youth. The youth are very much into social media and they know how to use these things to evangelize and the like. So it just shows us that if we just recognize the contribution of these young people who we are now calling Catholic influencers, you see one or two young people in our diocese, influencers on social media, and the parish priest says, I see a talent here, how do we work together in this mission? It's a pool of people, of energy that the church needs to really harness for the mission.
It's very important. And to continue, this work and to bring it down to, to the lay people, to the grassroots, so that many people can own it and then also make their gifts, the gift of, the virtues they have. It's very important, and to bring it also there, we raised it also before, but this digital media is very important to engage the young people. That's an important ministry also in the youth ministry. And in the AMECEA region, there are also different attempts, different ways of, communicating also the message of the synod in the last 2-3 years. What is the plan in the coming period to bring all these communicators together? Is there any activity planned? We were mentioning that there are a number of Catholic televisions in the AMECEA region, but also bloggers, and we have our sister.
Yeah, that's her field.
Yes. And it would be good, to collaborate, to bring all this the message and evangelization, the mission of the church, without the media, without the effort of the church communication is not possible, I think.
Yeah, actually, we at AMECEA we developed a communication strategy where all these are included. But Sister is the one who is managing that, so I leave it to her to explain what is in the strategy.
Okay, we've at AMECEA we've come up with a communication strategy so that we can communicate more about this synodality. First of all, as Father had mentioned earlier, we've already reached out to the journalists, the communicators within the region, those who work in the radio, on the TV, because the first thing is that even if we said that the document is out, but who understands that document unless somebody breaks it down for you? And so this one has already been done. At least we've done. We can't say that everybody has understood it, but we've done, and we continue doing. When we like the radio presenters, we meet them, I think after every 2 months, we try to meet them. Online? Yes, online.
Via Zoom.
Yeah, online. So, and I'm wondering, you're not there. You people have not joined.
Next time.
Next time you join. So, the communication strategy, we've come up with how do we want to ensure that people, this information reach out to the people. So we have we have come up with a campaign that in this campaign, every week at least we come up with some information concerning, if it is something to be published, we do it like every twice a week, not twice a week, every fortnight. We communicate something concerning communication, concerning synodality. Then we do maybe some videos like today we were with the bishops. So somebody explained something about synodality or what they shared here, and we will post these ones online so people will keep hearing more about it. And so if we keep doing this frequently for a period of time, especially during this implementation period, because right now not many people even know that we are in the implementation stage, and the implementation stage is to take like 3 years, up to 2028. A few people even know about that. So through these campaigns that we have started, we believe that this information will be going to the people, because like the videos, we will post them online. We'll come up with some infographics, we put them in the social media, and through that, even the youths will get this information. And I'm sure we have those who, we have some youths who are always, most of them are always there in the social media, so they'll get this information, and when you get some, we'll continue sharing it out to the others. So this is something that we've started it already, so we know after some time, it will come back to people's mind that synodality is still continuing.
Yes. Like you notice that even the social media, in our designing of the communication, we know that there are some social media platforms which appeal to young people. Others appeal to more like you and me. So like you will not find most of the young people on X, you will find more the adults. And then you also find a mix on the Facebook, but the younger generation of the youth are not on the Facebook. More are going on Instagram and the other new platforms, because they don't want to meet their mother or father on the Facebook. That's where they are father, so they run away from there. So our messaging is to tailor the messages and target which platforms do we think this group is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's an important work. It's a vehicle for evangelization. Communication is very important. To bring all these experts or those who are working in the media, you have also a meeting being organized in November, I suppose. Yes. Can you tell a little bit about this as well?
Yeah, and normally in AMECEA Secretariat organizes what we call annual planning meetings for all the national communication coordinators from the 8 conferences which comprise AMECEA. But this year it's unique or special in the sense that we are also inviting all the directors of Catholic televisions to the meeting in Nairobi. So we hope that Pax TV will be there also. And interestingly, there is a project which has been initiated by our partners in Germany, which they are calling it the Africa TV project. And this Africa TV project, our partners, they want not only the Catholic TVs from AMECEA region. In AMECEA region, including Pax, we say we have 6 Catholic TVs. But there are also, I think, 13 other Catholic TVs across Africa. So at this meeting, we are also inviting them to come. We see how it goes, because there need to be a mix of languages, French, Portuguese, English. But we will come together, and the whole idea is how do we journey together in evangelizing through the Catholic TV. So there are areas that we need to work on, the area in terms of the quality of our productions, how also we can help one another with regard to the resource mobilization strategies, but also issue of standard equipment and the like. So I believe that at the end of the day, we are looking at these specific areas, but it will all add to the same mission of evangelizing using the Catholic television and other media platforms which the Catholic Church has. And we really must thank God that when it comes to communication, the Catholic Church in Africa is very rich. And in particular here in AMECEA region, we talk of 6 Catholic TVs, and then we talk of over 60 Catholic radios. And now all these Catholic TVs, Catholic radios have social media platforms. So you can say that, yes,
millions of people.
Millions of people. Yeah.
Yes. Important. Still, do you have something to add on this?
What I would add is that that annual meeting, mostly we have it annually just to help us come together as communicators in the region, so that what we discuss for implementation, we all have something in common to achieve by the end of the year. When we say that we focus on a specific thing, that this time let each conference focus on this so that we work on it. So it's like we have a focus, so that by the end of the year, when now we'll meet, it's like we'll review. Last time we talked of this, how far, what have we done, what have we not done, and why, and all that. So this, the meeting is just to help us focus now on next year and know what to achieve. At least we have something as AMECEA region.
Yes. So it's a very important meeting you had here in Addis, and we are very happy that you gave us insight into the meeting and on synodality. Of course, the Holy Spirit is at the center here when we talk about synodality, as Pope Leo also reminded us that not the reasoning of those who are organizing or meeting is very important, but the Holy Spirit is the one to to make it fruitful and to make it, also to communicate it in a proper way, so that people can engage and can benefit also from this journey, and that it becomes also a lifestyle of in the new way, and to witness and to evangelize without the Holy Spirit is unthinkable for the Church. So we are very happy to have you here, and just also hear from you about this meeting. Of course, the implementation, the journey is starting, so we will have also the opportunity, to meet and to have more information and more insight in the coming period. but we are grateful once again for your presence here and giving us insight into the meeting. I mean, what you had here.
And thank you also for this opportunity, really, that we can share with you, but also for all the people who are the audience that is watching. Thank you for this opportunity.
And the sister is also working a lot hard, communicating. Very important work also in this period, in this the life of the church. And now you are heading. Tomorrow you are going back, and wish you also all the best with your work, with your ministry there. የተወደዳችሁ የሰላም ካቶሊክ ቴሌቪዥን ተመልካቾች እንግዲህ በዛሬው ቤተክርስቲያን በተልዕኮ ላይ በተሰኘው ፕሮግራማችን ከእንግዶቻችን ጋር እዚህ ቆይታ አድርገናል። በተለይ በዚህ በሲኖዳሊቲ ላይ እንደዚሁም ደግሞ በቤተክርስቲያን የተግባቦት የቤተክርስቲያን ስብከተ ወንጌል በሚዲያ በምን ሁኔታ መካሄድ አለበት በሚለው ርዕስ ላይ ውይይት አድርገናል እና ግንዛቤ እንዳገኛችሁበት ተስፋ እናደርጋለን። ወደፊትም እንግዲህ በተለይ በዚህ የቤተክርስቲያን የጋራ ጉዞ በክርስቶስ በመናደርገው የጋራ ጉዞ ላይ የተሰጠውን የተለያዩ መልእክቶች የሐዋርያዊ መልእክቶች የርዕሰ ሊቃነ ጳጳሳት መልእክት በተግባር ለመፈጸም በዚህም በኢትዮጵያ በአማርኛ ተተርጉሞ ለሁላችን የሚደርስ ይሆናል። በየሰበካው በየቁምስናው በየገዳማቱ በተግባር የሚተረጎም ስራ ይጠብቀናል እና አሁን ደግሞ በተለይ ጳጳሳት ከ8 የአፍሪካ ሀገራት የተውጣጡ በሮም በተደረገው በ2024 በፈረንጆች በተደረገው እንደ አውሮፓ አቆጣጠር በተደረገው ሲኖድ ትልቅ ጉባኤ ላይ የተሳተፉ ጳጳሳት ሁሉ እዚህ በኢትዮጵያ በአዲስ አበባ መጥተው ከነዚህ ከ8 ሀገሮች የተውጣጡ ውይይት አድርገዋል። የሲኖዳሊቲ ሰነድ እንዴት አድርገን በዚህ በአሜሲያ አካባቢ ተግባራዊ ይሆናል በሚል ውይይት አድርገዋል እና የውይይታቸውም ደግሞ ጭብጥ ሀሳብ ገልጸውልናል ቀደም ሲል እንግሊዝኛ ቋንቋም ቢሆን እና በዚህ ግንዛቤ እንዳገኛችሁበት ተስፋ በማድረግ እግዚአብሔር እንግዲህ ይህ ጉባኤ ይህ የቤተክርስቲያን አገልግሎት እንዲባርክ በጸሎታችሁ እንድታስቡ እየጠየቅኩኝ በያላችሁበት መልካሙን ሁሉ እመኝላችኋለሁ። ተልዕኮ ምሕረት